In today's episode, let's talk about generative AI and the superpower of generative AI. A lot of people are using tools like ChatGPT, for example, or Microsoft Bing, Google Bard, etc., with great success getting these tools to crank out really good results, from loading a spreadsheet and doing data analysis, to writing content, creating things, to imagining far-off worlds in image generation. And that's all good. That is very good. And I would encourage people to continue doing those things. However, the real superpower of these tools, particularly language models, at least from my perspective, as we are in the beginning days of 2024, is not the work that they do themselves, but the tools that they enable. And here's what I mean. A lot of the time, for many tasks, in marketing, but in any discipline, marketing, finance, HR, there are things that we want software to do that are not language tasks. You know, for example, download a bunch of files and process them, build slides for a presentation, etc. And these tasks, they're not language tasks. They are rote tasks. They are repetitive tasks. They are boring tasks in many cases. And language models and tools like ChatGPT can help with some of it, but can't help with other parts of it. For example, if you have to write a client report at the end of every month and summarize what you did and how you did it and stuff like that, yes, a language model can help with the writing part, but assembling the report, not as much. Even with tools like Microsoft Copilot, etc., there's still a fair amount of manual labor with this. When you use a tool like ChatGPT, for example, with a programming language like Python, it expands the scope of what you can do, because now you're not trying to use language for non-language tasks. You're trying to use a language model to generate a programming language that then has a lot more flexibility about what it can do. For example, I was recently interested in seeing what websites are in the Common Crawl database, what pages, because I would like to know if my website, my personal website, was in there. I would like to know if my content has been used to train language models. Now, these files are all hosted by commoncrawl.org on AWS. They're free. They're free to the general public. You have to have a lot of disk space to download them all and process them. So I said to myself, what if I had a piece of software that could download all 900 files, each of which is about 200 megabytes, and one at a time download them, process them, then delete it and move on to the next one, extracting only the information I needed. This is a task that is not suited for a language model, right? You can't go to ChatGPT and ask it to do this. It simply will not. Even if you could, it wouldn't have the disk space to handle that much data. But I could go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I want to write a Python script that will download a list of URLs one at a time, process, extract this data, then discard the file and store that data in a separate database. Can you help me write that? And of course, the software said, sure, I can help you write that. And we went through the process of creating the software, and now it's running. It's running on my laptop. It's going to take about 3 days for this download process to occur. Actually, probably close to 6 days now that I'm looking at the timing on it. But this software doesn't exist. It didn't exist before I asked for it, and then I used a language model to generate language, because computer programming is language, to create a tool that now exists and is doing this job for me. I created another tool not too long ago, again, using Python. I said to ChatGPT, hey, I've got a mailbox of all my customer interactions with this one customer every month. And at the end of the month, I have to kind of wrap up all the things that I did for this customer. And I could try and remember things and try and write them down. And I don't want to pass proprietary information into a language model, although I'm using the paid version where I can turn that history off. But wouldn't it be nice if you could access this mailbox and do extractive summarization, where we're not trying to use a language model to generate abstracts, we're just trying to download relevant pieces of text and pull them out. And it stepped me through the process. It wrote me a Python script. And now at the end of the month, I run that on that mailbox to that client, pull out all the notes, and then I remember what I did that month, and I can put it into a nice little timeline. And again, this is a piece of software that did not exist prior to my saying, I would like a piece of software to do this. But with the language model, I can have it generate the computer language needed to create software. This is, I think, AI's greatest superpower right now. The ability for us to create things that don't exist, that maybe wouldn't be worth the time to hire and go through the process of software development for something that's relatively simple, right? Is it not worth standing up a whole new project and getting a bug tracking system? No, you just go into ChatGPT and say, let's write some code today. And by the end of the process, in 30 minutes, 45 minutes, you have new software. Now, it has a very, very poor interface. You have to be comfortable with writing code in that fashion, but it does work. It works, and it solves that need. And sometimes it might solve that need in such a way that you might be able to make it useful to someone else. Now, that would require a lot more coding than what we've talked about so far, but I could definitely see the email inbox summarization tool be useful to anyone who works at an agency, because a month is a long time. Do you remember what you did for your customer that month? Have a machine go through and extract the data that's relevant and summarize it. I could definitely see someone finding value in the Google Analytics scripts that I've written to export out common analyses that, frankly, in the existing tool as it stands today, it's really hard to get at them. That's going to be coming up on a live stream the week of January 22nd. So if you want to check the YouTube channel, you'll find that live stream. It will be on Thursday, which is the 25th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the superpower, to help us make things that solve real problems and to create that code in such a way that we have it. If ChatGPT just turned off tomorrow, I would still have all this code. I might have to maintain it manually, but I would have it. It wouldn't have gone away. And as AI tools evolve and get better, you still want to have these outputs that are yours, that you get to hold on to. And that's a really, really important aspect of these tools, is you can create stuff that is yours, that no one can take away from you once you build it. So give that some thought as you look at deploying generative AI throughout your company, throughout your workday. What tasks would you like the tools to do that may not be language tasks, but can be accomplished with a programming language? What if you had a programmer on staff who could make you software? That's essentially what ChatGPT is, or any language model that can write code. It is a junior programmer that can crank out software for you. What things would you want them to do? What things would you ask them for help with? The power to reap value from generative AI is based on two things: the data you have and the quality and quantity of ideas that you have. Think about all the things you would like to have a machine take care of if you had a magic wand, and start trying to figure out, can I get a machine to write me that software today so that I can accomplish those ends? That's today's show. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you want to know when new videos are available, hit the bell button to be notified as soon as new content is live.